Joshua Hanlon here at Japan Brickfest 2018, and I'm with my man Richard Jones here, fellow fan media from ramblingbrick.com and one of the all-around coolest Australians you can meet, and he has his awesome Nexo Nights layout here, so we're going to take a look at this. So if you want to talk about just kind of what inspired you to start this display. Okay,
so what I've set out to do was to reconstruct some of the sets from the initial Classic Space run in 1978-79, which is now celebrating its 40th anniversary. And because we didn't have access to sort of straightforward space sets over the last few years, I thought, let's take the theme that's closest to it and start building it out of Nexo Night sets. I took a little bit of inspiration from the Build Your Own Adventure book, Nexo Nights, and one or two of the small builds there were inspired by those, but then I went to the old catalogues and started to rebuild some of the older ships. Probably the first one I started with that I really enjoyed is this retake on 918, which in the old days was blue and grey and transparent yellow and didn't have quite so many guns. But one of the other things that I really enjoyed was the fact that the Nexo Night stickers featured a lot of these down arrows, which was a recurring motif in Classic Space labelling.
So it kind of bridges the gap there between the space themes.
The gap between the space themes, yes. Mm-hmm. And that was probably my first, and from there it all came up together over the summer holidays.
Adding more guns is always a good idea. That's always the best way to update. So then you got kind of the bigger spaceship here. Talk about some of the design features there.
Okay, so this is based on the Galaxy Explorer 927 or 498. It is the big. It was the must-have big set of the era. So we've got our one pilot in front. We have another slightly more relaxed pilot in the back. He's viewing the projection on the screen, and we also have the back ramp, which the buggy can drive up and into.
Perfect. There you go. And then for the more land-based portion of the build here, what are some of the buildings we've got back there?
Okay, so we've got the rocket launcher base. I've forgotten its number off the top of my head. And then we've got a sort of combination build for the sake of transportation, sort of command base alpha. And I've drawn inspiration from the radar tower on that came with the original Galaxy Explorer to come up with this radar tower here as well. Otherwise, we've also constructed the road base plates using just brick building it, and we've put some nano LEDs in through bricks with studs on both sides, and just threaded that through, and that's just adds a little bit of what we always wanted the sets to do when we were kids.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of makes that runway effect, and I love all the brick built a runway like that kind of sideways building and stuff that you're able to achieve there.
Yeah, no, thank you, Josh.
And then, so one thing I want to ask you about, obviously you've done Nexo Nights builds. We don't see a lot of Nexo Nights builds at shows, and it's definitely sort of a controversial theme. I know a lot of people complain about it being like a mashup of Castle and Space, and they aren't big fans of it. So what kind of draws you to this theme in general? What do you find are maybe some of the pluses of it?
Certainly in the first wave, I really enjoyed there were a lot of shout-outs to Classic Space, particularly in some of the ships in the colour scheme. In the colour schemes, in certainly the second year of it, the heavy use of dark blue I just really liked as the colour schemes, but also a lot of the play features in the Knights vehicles as well, I thought were very clever and well done. That would be so what brought me to it.
Yeah. So there are certainly good aspects of it, even if you aren't a fan of maybe the overall.
I wasn't a fan of. I didn't like it as a castle theme, but as a space theme, it was fantastic. That said, I would have thought, for me, the Knight and Castle was probably my favourite set there, both as a build, but then to pull it apart and start sourcing bits for spaceships and moon bases.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it's a great layout here. I love how you incorporated lighting in all the builds. So thanks so much for bringing it to the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Josh. Thanks for your time. Good to see you again.
For sure.
We look forward to seeing you in Brickvention in January 2019.
That's right. We're looking forward to it.
Fantastic. See you in Melbourne.